Hello YouTube and fellow DC Comic fans, I'm Keith One Shot, and this is my dramatic reading series, and today we will be covering Batman issue 34, The Rules of Engagement Part 2 from DC Comics. We start this story off with Catwoman and Batman, both standing back to back, as Catwoman says, "That's a lot." Then Batman replies, "I've seen more." Catwoman then tells Batman, "I didn't say I haven't seen more, I'm just saying that's a lot." Then Batman replies, "I wasn't trying to say." Then Catwoman interrupts him by saying, "I know what you were trying to say." Then Batman replies, "Look, you're right, it's a lot." Then Catwoman tells him, "Now you're just making fun of me." Batman then says, "Cat, I may be wearing a leather bat costume, but do I look crazy enough to make fun of you?" Then Catwoman replies, "I don't know, Bat. Do I look dumb enough to not know what a lot is?" We then see that the two are standing back to back, ready to take on a lot of assassins. As Batman gets ready to fight, he tells Selina, "No, you look lovely." Then Selina replies, "Sure, you say that now. Wait till I have their blood all over me." We then go to a nearby area, where we see Talia al Ghul testing out the sharpness of her sword, as she says to one of her guards, "The woman?" Then the guard answers, "Selina Kyle, the Catwoman." Then Talia says, "They are together." And the guard answers, "Yes, they are to be married." Then Talia cuts her own hand, as she says, "Oh, the poor thing. Tell the men, it is fine they do what they do." Then the guard replies, "Yes, mistress." We then go back to Batman and Selina, as the two are fighting the soldiers. Batman says, "They're not using guns. Why?" Then Selina replies, "How do I know? Aren't you the world's greatest detective?" Then, as Batman kicks a soldier and breaks another's arm, he says, "They want us alive, to take us somewhere." Then, Selina wraps her whip around a soldier's neck, as she replies to Batman, "If that were true, they could just, I don't know, ask." As Batman fights more soldiers, he says, "Hard for them to ask. The balance of their jaws on my knuckles. It's off. They don't have tongues." Then, Selina slams the soldier onto the ground, with her whip wrapped around his neck, as she says, "Well, that's fairly decent detectiving. Don't know if it's the greatest." Batman dodges an attack. Then he says, "These are the silent soldiers of the pit. This is her." Then, Selina kicks a soldier, as she replies, "The X?" Then Batman boots a soldier in the face and says, "Cat! Ugh!" Then Selina tosses the soldier by the arm, as she says, "Yeah, definitely the X." Then Batman knocks the soldier out, as he tells Selina, "She's not just someone I once. Talia al Ghul is the most dangerous woman alive." Then Selina knocks out a soldier, as she replies, "The most dangerous woman alive? Really?" Then, Batman elbows the soldier and says, "That's not what I was. You're not a danger. Not to me." Then a soldier grabs Selina. Then Selina says, "Well, let's see how this thing with the X goes." Then Batman breaks the soldier's arm on the ground, as he says, "We'll be fine." Selina then chokes the soldier who grabbed her, as she replies, "So far, she's sent an army of tongueless soldiers after us. How fine is that?" We then see Batman knock out another soldier, as he says, Have I mentioned how lovely you look?" Then, Selina continues to choke out the soldier, as she says, "Oh, Bat, you're in so much trouble." We then go to the entrance of Kadaim, where Superman is flying in front of the entrance, as he tells Damian Wayne, "No!" Then Damian replies, "Everyone fights you with kryptonite. I'd use magic. I'd draw a circle on the ground, then a pointy star, chat with some demon, blah blah blah, my soul, blah blah blah, presto changeo, abracadabra, you're dead." We then see that Grayson is there as well, as he says, "Damian!" Then Superman also tells Damian, "Pal, believe me, you could use the magic, but think, if you kill me, or try to kill me, I'm not sure John's gonna want to go around adventuring with you anymore." Then Damian shrugs his shoulders and says, "Tuh." Then Clark gets on one knee and tells Damian, "Honestly, I can't let you in. I'm sorry. I'd like to. We have a deal with the UN. No one in or out. We have to honor it. Why, your father..." Then Clark pauses. Then he says, "There's an alien invasion in Central City. Gotta go." Then Superman takes off flying into the sky. Now that Superman is gone, Damian says, "Perhaps." Then Grayson tells Damian, "He can still see you from Central City." Then Damian replies, "I know." Then Damian walks up the steps, turns around and says, "Mother and Father are talking inside. When they are done, they will exit and explain themselves." Then Damian sits on the steps and says, "I will wait." Then Grayson tells Damian, "And I'll wait with you." Then he sits down next to him. Then Damian says, "Thank you, Richard, for coming when others would not, and for this." Then Grayson tells Damian, You and me, kiddo, from the beginning and all the way to the end. We then go back to Batman and Catwoman, who are both on the ground. Then, as Batman stands up, he pulls a knife out of him that's covered in blood. Then he says, "I was wrong." Then, as Selina catches her breath, she tells Batman, "I know, most dangerous woman alive. Please." Then Batman says, "They're not here to take us. They're here to tire us." We then see Talia al Ghul approach the two, as she says, "Detective." Then Batman replies, "Talia." Then, as Talia walks over, with her swords drawn, she says, "Do you have a sword?" Then Batman answers, "No." Then Talia tells him, "Well then, get one." Then, Selina gives Talia a dirty look, as she says, "The X?" Then Batman says, "Talia, I'm not here to fight." Then Talia replies, "Get one." Then Selina says, "Yeah, definitely the X." Batman then looks over and says, "Talia, please." Then suddenly, Talia swings her swords at Batman as she shouts, "Fine!" Batman does his best to dodge as he says, "We're here for a woman, Holly Robinson. She killed 237 people. Catwoman took the blame. She fled from Gotham. We tracked her here to you." Then Talia strikes her swords down, and Batman barely blocks her attack with his bracers. Then he shouts, "Let us see her! Talk to her, and we'll leave!" Then Talia tells Batman, "Yes, this is what you will do." Then, Talia slams Batman into the ground and stabs him in the back. Then, as Batman screams, Talia says, "No, you leave!" Then Selina shouts, "Bat!" as she goes to check on Bruce. Then Talia says to Selina, "Do you have a sword?" Selina then turns around and yells, "Are you insane?" Then Talia replies, "Do you have a sword?" Then Selina says, "No." Then Talia replies, "Get one." Then, Selina pulls the sword out of Batman's back as she says, "Okay, got one." Then, as Talia and Selina stand ready to fight, Talia says, "Good, then shall we?" Then, Selina replies, "Meow." And that ends today's story. Comic published by DC Comics. All rights, story art, and characters belong to DC Comics and their respective owners. Not me. This has been Batman issue 34, The Rules of Engagement Part 2, and I'm your host, Keith One Shot. If you like this video, make sure to check out the rest of my Comic Complete dramatic reading series, and support DC Comics by picking up a copy of the trades and single issue comics. Support your local comic book shop, take care, and have a great day. Goodbye!